Hello! Welcome to the DocKeeper demo, the platform that simplifies all your organization's document management. Today, we'll go through the essential features that make DocKeeper unique, from account creation, user management, automatic validations, project integration, and sharing between organizations, all in a simple, secure, and centralized way. Let's start with the first step, creating the account and organization. To get started, open your web browser and go to home.dockeeper.net. Once the page loads, you'll see the Sign Up Free button clearly displayed on the homepage. Click this button to begin the registration process and set up your account. Once inside, you have two main options to create your account: classic registration via email or quick registration with a Microsoft account, where a professional account is required. If you choose Microsoft, note that it only works with professional accounts. Personal accounts, such as @gmail.com or @outlook.com, without a license, are not accepted in this flow. In the classic registration, fill in first name, last name, email, and country. Then click Sign Up. After registration, you'll receive a confirmation email. Sometimes it lands in spam, so be sure to check there if it doesn't appear in your inbox. The temporary password is only used to validate the registration. After clicking Validate Registration, you'll need to enter that temporary password and define your permanent one. Also, check that the temporary password doesn't have spaces at the beginning or end. After login, the system asks you to create your organization. You can choose between personal and professional. There are two types of organizations in DocKeeper, and the difference is quite simple. The personal organization is best suited for those who want to use the platform individually. For example, a freelancer who needs a secure central repository just for themselves. There's no sharing with other organizations, no projects, and no external requests. It's truly a private space to store and organize personal documents. And each user can only have one personal organization. The professional organization, on the other hand, is where DocKeeper shows its full potential. Here we're talking about real collaboration within the company, user management, permission settings, secure folder sharing between organizations, projects, and much more. It's designed for teams and companies that need to work collaboratively with documentation in a controlled, organized, and responsible way. The Basic and Premium plans. Basic offers internal document management only, without projects or cross-organization sharing. Premium includes projects and sharing between organizations. You can choose monthly or annual billing. When following the flow in AppSource, simply select the plan you want, enter your payment details, and finally click the Configure Account button. After that, you'll be automatically redirected to DocKeeper, where the subscription becomes active, the organization is created automatically, and you'll receive the same validation email. The installer creates both the user and the organization. You just need to validate your email and log in, as explained earlier. Once the organization is created, the first critical step is defining who can do what. This is done with user groups. We don't assign permissions directly to users, we assign them to groups, and then place users into those groups. It's a best practice for scalability. Let's go to the side menu and select Users. When creating a group, you give it a name and choose which operations that group will have access to. For example, let's create the group Human Resources. For the finance department, we generally don't authorize user management. We only give access to folders, downloads, uploads, etc. DocKeeper has three default groups: Administrator, Reader, Project. Important: administrators always have full access to the repository. This means even sensitive or restricted folders are visible to administrators. This ensures governance. To add a new user, enter the email and associate it with a group. Once added, the user receives a validation account email. Let's add Maria@dockeeper.net to the Human Resources group. If later you need to grant individual access, you can create a group with the user's own name, a group composed of a single person, with very specific permissions. Creating groups by department and then personal groups for key managers is a good security and management practice. In DocKeeper, the central repository is the foundation. At the root, you can only create folders. These are the starting points for organization. When creating, you must fill in a unique name, for example, human resources, a description to clarify the folder's purpose, the responsible group, the group responsible for maintaining it, and the folder type, whether it's sensitive or not. The responsible group handles tasks, keeping documents updated, setting checklists, managing validity periods, and receiving notifications associated with the folder's documents. It's the folder's guardian. If you mark the folder as sensitive, access is restricted. Only authorized groups can view its contents. Here, you can set permissions, read or write. You can add groups with read or write permissions, remove groups when necessary, and edit permissions if you need to adjust access levels. This also applies at the document level, which we'll discuss later. It's important to remember that members of the administrator group have access to all content, whether sensitive or not. This ensures governance and support during audits. Inside Human Resources, we'll create employees and then Joanna Ferreira. Now for the element that makes a real difference: tasks. The responsible group defines exactly what must exist in the folder. When creating a task, we define the task name, e.g., contract, priority, by the order, and the deadline that defines when the task should be completed. Once defined, when someone uploads the correct documents, they must select the corresponding task. Only the folder's responsible person can mark the task as completed. This ensures quality. Now let's add documents. There are 3 ways: individual upload, bulk drag and drop, and external request. When adding an individual document, you can define all the metadata at creation: file name, optional description, responsible group for the document, which can differ from the folders, expiry date if applicable, tags for categorization, for example, client, contract, HR, etc., useful for more complete searches in the repository, associate with folder tasks, and mark as sensitive or not sensitive. Note that by marking it as sensitive, if a user doesn't have permission, the document won't appear, while the administrator always sees everything. As with folders, you can manage permissions at the document level, add, remove or edit groups, and set read or write. This is useful when you need to restrict a specific file without changing the entire folder. When you want to upload multiple files at once, you can use simple drag and drop. And here, there are some automatic behaviors to make things easier. By default, the document name is the same as the computer file name. The responsible group assigned is the same as the folders. The document is considered non-sensitive, and no validity date is set. Of course, after uploading, you can always edit each document individually to adjust any of these properties. But we know that many times the document isn't in our possession internally. It comes from employees, suppliers, or other external entities. And asking for it via email, WhatsApp, or USB drives inevitably leads to disorganization, scattered versions, and security risks. That's why DocKeeper introduces an important concept: external document requests. When creating an external request, we start by defining the internal document name, for example, ID_1234, something simple for internal identification. Then, we can add a description directed to the recipient, such as Employee Joanna's ID card, front and back in a single PDF. We enter the recipient's email, for example, joanna@dockeeper.net, and send the request. Once sent, the request automatically moves to the To Submit state. The recipient receives an email with a link and full instructions. And best of all, they don't need a DocKeeper account to upload the document. When the external user uploads the file, it becomes pending for internal approval. Only after approval does it appear in the folder. If rejected, it's not visible. This prevents improper uploads. In DocKeeper, each document is managed with version control. Whenever we upload a new version of a file, whether manually or via an external request, the system automatically creates a new numbered version, keeping the entire history organized. For example, we might have version 1 of a contract Joanna v1.pdf, valid until December 31st, 2025, and later add version 2, contract Joanna v2.pdf, valid until December 31st, 2026. The active version is always the most recent one, and that is the one the organization uses on a day-to-day basis. Each version maintains its own validity data, so we can accurately track document compliance over time. You can delete old versions, but you must keep at least one version. If there are 2 versions and you delete version 2, version 1 becomes active again. Reminders in DocKeeper are an essential tool to ensure nothing is missed. They are directly associated with documents and can be fully customized, from the title and message to the date the reminder is sent and the deadline by which the action must be completed. For example, imagine a vehicle inspection document, valid until December 31st, 2025. We can set a reminder to be sent 1 month in advance, i.e. on November 30th, 2025, and designate the responsible group as recipients, in this case, the fleet manager. And because it's a document that expires every year, we can also make it recur annually. From there, DocKeeper takes care of the rest. It automatically sends the email on the scheduled date, and the reminder also appears on users' dashboards. If it's recurring, it will repeat year after year without any additional effort. Users see reminders in the top right corner of their screen and also receive them via email. They can mark them as read in the interface. When we need to share documentation with another organization within DocKeeper, we can do so in a fully controlled manner. We select exactly the folders and/or documents we want to share. No more, no less. The target organization is identified by its unique ID, which is always visible in the side menu of each organization. You just request this ID from the target organization, paste it into the sharing box, and choose the permissions for sharing, read-only or read and write. We can also define a period during which the sharing will be active. For example, only for the next week, ensuring that access is temporary and clearly defined. After the share is created, nothing is immediately exposed. On the side of the receiving organization, a pending request appears. That organization reviews the shared structure, ensures it makes sense for them, and only then decides whether to accept or reject. This adds an extra layer of security and control, as it should when dealing with sensitive documentation. An assignment transfers responsibility. All content becomes the responsibility of the target organization. Here too, you can define an assignment period. In the Connection Requests menu, you can see received requests, sent requests, and cancel them, and the history of rejections/acceptances, all fully auditable. When creating the organization, the system has, by default, 4 levels of frequency for validity notifications. Critical, 1 day. High, 5 days. Moderate, 10 days. Normal, 30 days. You can edit these values, delete them, or add as many levels as you want. In the validity emails, documents are organized according to these levels. Documents at 1 day, 5 days, etc. You can also add extra fields to documents and versions. For example, notes, case number, external reference. For projects, you can define up to 5 additional fields to store relevant metadata. The default file type list includes BPMN, CAL, DOC. You can add or remove types according to your policy. Notifications also appear in the side menu: validity, connection requests, and submissions. Each can be marked as read. This is ideal for keeping everything organized without relying solely on email. The Projects area displays all active projects and sub-projects. When adding a project, you fill in name, description, period if applicable, managing group, and location. Within the project, document management works like in the repository, but with groups and permissions specific to the project. Organization groups are not automatically reflected in the project. This provides isolation and control per project. Instead of duplicating documentation, we associate repository folders with the project. The association is always made at the folder level, not individual documents. To make an association, open the Associate option, which will display the repository tree. Then, select the desired folder, including its sublevels, and define the project group responsible for the associated folder. Optionally, you can set the association period. Once associated, if the document in the repository is updated, the project immediately reflects the new version. It's automatic synchronization, no duplication. The responsibility for updating the documentation lies with the person defined in the repository, not with the person who associated the documentation with the project. For example, if we have 50 collaborators working on 3 projects, it doesn't make sense to duplicate the documentation across 3 projects when it already exists in the central repository. By associating repository documents with projects, the document stays synchronized with the repository. That is, when we update any associated document in the repository, it automatically updates in all projects where that association is active. You can end the association, set an end date, after which it stops synchronizing, or remove it entirely in case it was added by mistake. If you subcontract a company for the roof, we create a sub-project folder and assign it to the partner organization. That organization then manages its documentation, employees, equipment, licenses, within the sub-project. Sub-projects facilitate collaboration between organizations while keeping document responsibility with the subcontractor. Approvals are fundamental in projects. The group responsible for the folder with approval permissions can validate documents. Until approval, users with read-only access cannot see the document. Only those with write access can see it in a pending state. User groups with the Approve Documents operation can approve documents, and only approved documents are visible to users with read-only permissions. The tree view makes it easy to navigate deep structures. You can expand/collapse and jump to folders in seconds. Each folder can have a ratio indicating valid versus expired documents, useful for identifying problem areas and prioritizing actions. The available options are download from the current point, include only active and valid versions, or all versions of each document. The system generates a zip file with the structure and keeps a record of the download. On the Downloads page, located in the side menu, you can check the history of downloads performed, both by the organization and by projects. Search works within the current structure, by folder name, file name, or tags assigned to documents. Each user has an area for reminders, unread, expired, and upcoming. Here, they can directly access the document associated with the reminder to take action. And that concludes the full demonstration. You've seen how DocKeeper is not just a repository, it's a document governance system. Organization, security, automation, and collaboration between teams and partners. With just a few clicks, it solves problems that currently consume time and money. Missing documents, missed deadlines, duplicate files, and lack of traceability. We are ready to help your organization work more efficiently, more securely, and without document-related stress. When shall we start migrating your documents? Try it for free at home.dockeeper.net.